What's up, YouTube? This is a passive income trucker coming back to you today with another video. In today's video, we're going to be getting back into Bitlocity one more time. Before we get back into Bitlocity, let's go to this disclaimer. The information I present to you in these videos are my opinion and not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. These videos are for educational purposes. All parties watching these videos should assess the risks and do their own due diligence before investing in anything. Not just the advice I give you, but other YouTubers as well, other businesses, anything that you get yourself into where you have to put your hard-earned money. Do not do your own research and make your own decision. I cannot guarantee you your results. I can only show you my results, which is due to the work that I put in. Okay, let's get into this. Today we're going to go over it's a Bitlocity Saturday training. It said it was 7 hours ago. This pretty much was all a Saturday training of this is March 13th. So I'm just going to go through this. I watched some of this earlier, and some of the stuff I didn't agree with, but I'm going to go through it again so I can give you my opinion. But first, let me log into Bitlocity so I can show you that. Let's just see what I have in the account. Let's see what I have left in the account. The last time I checked, I had $25 that was inside the account. Before we get into the video, let's show you what I have in there. 0.1, well, whatever it is. And as you guys know, man, Bitcoin just went up like $61,000. Bitcoin is on the move. I don't know if any of you guys will have any money in Bitcoin, but if you don't, it might be a time to get into that either. You can do that through Cash App. I mean, you can get $10 worth of Bitcoin, $10, $20, $61. Last time I checked, it was 62. It was 60. I had an alert this morning saying it was $60,000. Now it's almost at $62,000 by the end of the day. What is this? That looks good. Oh, I put that on the wrong one. Dollar amount. What is that? It's still like 20. Wow. Okay, so that's $89. Okay, now I don't know if that's because I got another another person in it. Well, let me go ahead and check. I don't know if anybody else joined. Let's see. I don't know if anybody else gave me an infinity line transaction or whatever. Let's see. Nope. It's showing that it's supposed to be $25. Well, it was a pending payment. My bad. It's pending payment, $25. Transaction history. Is this thing automatically? No, it's not. So the only payment I have right now is an infinity line for $50. And right now it's showing the pending payment for $25. But when I go to the home page, it's showing 0.00146246. Again. Now I'm probably assuming that this is because of how Bitcoin has went up. That it was $25. I don't know if it's gonna still be $25 when I try to withdraw it, but now it's showing that it's something else. Now it's showing $25. It went to almost $90. So my $25 almost went up to $90. Wow. Okay. I'm still gonna wait. Probably not gonna. I'm gonna leave that in. Then I'm not gonna withdraw anything until about Wednesday or Thursday of next week. Just see if anything else comes through because I already did it. As you can see, I made one withdrawal already, which was the infinity line of 50. I don't know how I got a 50 and you get a 25. That was kind of weird, but I got an infinity line, $50 payment. You can see I already paid the $25 membership fee, $25 package 1, the $50 package 2, and the $75 for the section 3, and that's pretty much as far as I'm going to go with this. And I got a level 2 $50 payment that I already have sent through. That's kind of weird, but I guess because of the way the Bitcoin has went up. Let me go one more time before I go back to this video. This was on, say $25 on March 11th, so that was 2 days ago. So that was, I'm not gonna check all that right now, but I guess 2 days ago. But that shows you how fast Bitcoin just skyrocketed. On March 11, 9/28, when I got $25 payment, which was That's pretty good. But that's just Bitcoin. That's not anything else with Bitcoin. Let's get back into this video. Go ahead and get it started. Bitlocity Saturday training and my thoughts coming up. They know I'm gonna start a little slow, wait for everybody to come in, so I'm gonna try to fast forward this just a little bit.
I see Tracy from Columbus, Ohio. Also like to welcome everyone that is here on Zoom as well. And of course, we've got guests from all over. So glad you could all join us. I see Stan from St. Louis, Missouri. I see Sandra from Canada. Glad you could join us. Kyle is with us from Birmingham, New York. Pancho from Michigan. Glad you could join us. I see Tracy from Columbus, Ohio. Welcome to the call. All right. I see we've got Maisie with us from Georgetown, South Carolina. Welcome to the call. I see my friend Diana is with us from Massachusetts, and Holly and Steve from Oregon. All right, Ian is here from Canada, and Henry from Waco. All right, I see.
I don't think they had the chat on. I was there live. I didn't see it on. Looked like it may have been on, but when I tried to go in live, I didn't see any messages in the chat, so I don't know if they turned it off or if they turned it off here. I see one message that showed up, so I just continue to let it play.
Sonia is with us from DeSoto, Texas. Welcome to the call. All right, I see Maureen from North Carolina. Welcome to the call. Andrew from Connecticut. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So glad you were all able to join us here.
I don't know where he's getting these names from. I don't see anything showing up right here unless they had it on during the live and turned it off when it was time to upload the video.
This morning. So stand by one moment. It's one other thing I need to do really quick. And then we will get started. So this is our agenda for today, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we're going to discuss the Infinity line, and we're going to talk about unconfirmed packages.
This looks like the same agenda every single week. Nothing is changing. Nothing new. And this is why people seem to think this is a pre-recorded video, because every single week is almost the exact same thing, except maybe a couple things that may be different. A lot of these videos have the same agenda, pretty much the same flow, the same things going on every single time.
Withdrawal wallet addresses, blockchain transaction IDs. We're going to talk about support emails, the educational videos, and also policies and procedure. So again, I'd like to welcome everyone to the call. So glad you were able to join us on this Saturday morning. So we want to talk about the Infinity line. I'm actually going to bring Coach Brian on, who's going to kind of break this down and help us to really understand this a little better and conceptualize what the Infinity line is about. We know many of you have had questions. So the first thing you need to understand, it's not magic, ladies and gentlemen. It is math. And Coach Brian, are you there, sir?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Welcome to the call.
Awesome, man. Fantastic.
I wonder if Brian has a last name.
Fantastic. Well, again, I'm going to ask everybody to, if you can. So this means if you're not driving, I know people are driving, listen to this on the phone. But if you can, grab out a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. I wish we talked about this late, about having the ability for me to pop on here and maybe address some of the questions about the Infinity line, which.
Why do we need pen and paper if we're going through the same thing every single week? This is like the exact same thing from every video that I've watched. It's always the exact same topic. Pretty much nothing new.
I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to actually do something with you all today that I've done with many groups of people here over the past couple of weeks who would just call up and say, I can't quite conceptually. I know this is a very complex algorithm and it gets crazy when you get so many people involved, but it's something I've been able to do as a mental exercise with people, and it's really worked out well for them. And I hope it works out well for you too. And I hope also as we record this, you can just play this part back to anybody in the future that's looking for a deeper understanding of the infinity line, because you can start to understand it's a little trippy as we go through it. So hopefully that was enough of a delay tactic for everybody to get a pen and piece of paper, because I don't want you to miss this, guys. And if you can't get a pen and piece of paper, you can always play this back time and time again, and it will start to make sense to you and settle in your mind. So let's just cover a couple things. Number one is the infinity line is driven by an algorithm. And on its surface, the algorithm is very simple, right? But as it starts to go into practice and you start dealing with lots and lots of people, as I'm going to show you, it becomes almost impossible for you to figure out unless your brain is a supercomputer, which is okay because we have a supercomputer running it. So the algorithms.
Isn't that what those people get paid to do, to figure out the problems? Don't you have people on your team that you pay to figure out what's going on behind the scenes? We're not technical people. We're not. I know you're not asking the people to put their money in to figure it out. You have people that you pay that have the knowledge. There should be computer engineers. There should be civil engineers that should be able to go in and figure it out. If your team isn't big enough, you get to hire more people. You need to bring in more people to help fix the problem ASAP. I mean, that's what businesses do. You don't hear Walmart. You don't hear Target. You don't hear Best Buy. You don't hear these other companies, saying, "Oh, we're having issues. We're still having issues." You gotta come up with a solution to fix the issue. You can't just come in and complain all the time about the issues. We know you're having issues. We're in the system. We wonder when the issue is going to be fixed. You keep talking about the issues being fixed, but are the issues really being fixed? Are you hiring more people behind the scenes, or are you just talking about the side of your mouth?
Simply ask a couple of questions. It says, number one, who is at the front in what the algorithm calls the receiver position? That's it. Okay. So the person who's at the front is in the receiver position. No matter how long the line is or how short the line is, the person at the front is in the receiver position, which means as contributions are coming in, they're next in line now to be receiving contributions. That should make sense, right? So that's number one. Number two, who are the next two members who are in the send position? So the next two members with, let's just say we're doing a $25 line with $25 contributions that have not sent forward a $25 contribution yet. So it's always looking for those keys. Who's in the receiver position? Who are the two in the send position? And then most of you know, if you've watched any of the presentations, any of the videos, if you've been in any trainings, of all this kind of stuff, you know that somebody in the receiver position is going to receive two contributions. One's going to go to their wallet, and one is going to loop them around back to the end of the line instantaneously with a brand new timestamp. Okay, so that sounds simple enough. And people think, well, it sounds simple enough, so I should be able to just figure it out real easy. Well, let me give you an example, and this is why I want you to have a paper and pen, because I want you to just, across the top of your paper, write down these 5 names, okay? And what we're going to assume is that these are the first 5 people. I'm going to show you what would happen with the very first 5 people who would join the infinity line.
Now, the way the infinity line was supposed to work was not how you joined. Well, it was kind of sort of that, but it still was supposed to be everybody in a line. So if your computer was having glitches and having issues, of course the money went to the first 5 people that were in there. That's obvious. So if you put the first 5 people are only ones who were able to get their info in and to get their account set up, and 1,000 people, 100,000 people trying to get in on one day, and a lot of those people, let's say 75,000 people could not get in, then guess what? All the money went to the top 5, top 10, top 20 people who had their account set up. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I wouldn't disagree.
The very first 5. And then we're going to start to imagine what happens as more and more people join. But if you can understand the dynamics just within the first 5, you can understand the entire thing. So write down these names, and these are just some random names. First name is going to be Mike. Okay, I'm going to use some simple names here. Second name will be Joe. Third name will be Linda. Fourth name will be Dave. Fifth name will be Kim. Okay, so Mike, Joe, Linda, Dave, Kim. And for those of you who are writing a little bit slower, I'll say it one more time.
And what about the people on their team? Did their team get paid, or the top 5 people get paid and that's it? How do we know that the top 5 people weren't inputted by your company? I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know if that's true or the fact. I'm just making an assumption How do we know those top 5 people names you throwing out there? You didn't put those top 5 in to make sure they were able to collect that money. Again, that's that speculation on my part. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know if it happened or not. I'm just saying.
Mike, Joe, Linda, Dave, Kim. And from this point on, you might just want to go MJLDK just so it can help you. That's okay, however you want to do it. That's perfectly good for you. But originally the names, I'm going to say it one last time, and you're going to see why I'm saying it so many times as we start getting into the algorithm here. Mike, Joe, Linda, Dave, Kim. Got it. Hopefully you guys got it. All right, so Mike, very first person who joins the Infinity Line. Congratulations, Mike. You were fast. You were faster than everyone else. You got into the computer quick when we first went into the paid pre-launch, and you were number 1 in the Infinity Line. That's awesome. Mike is the very first person. So we already said the rules, right? Who's at the front in the receiver position? I think we all know the answer to that question. It's Mike, because he's the very first person in the line. Who are the next 2 at the send position? We know who they're going to be, but they haven't joined technically yet, because in this frozen time, Mike is the only one in right at this moment. And once the receiver gets the 2 contributions, they'll loop around to the back of the line with a $25 contribution to be sent forward. Okay, so now we have all the dynamics. So next person that joins is Joe. Could have joined a quarter of a second later, half a second later, a minute later, doesn't matter, right? But Joe comes in, okay? Joe is in one of the send positions, correct? Because Joe is coming in, and he's the second person in, hasn't sent his $25 forward yet, so it does go forward. Joe's $25, that contribution is going to go to Mike, okay, which makes sense. I think this is easy so far. We're going to have a little bit of fun with this here in a second when we start to bend your brain a little bit. Next person comes in is Linda. Linda is the second person in the send position, right? So Linda's $25 contribution also goes to Mike. Doesn't go to Joe, guys. Remember, it goes to Mike. Mike is in the receive position. So it goes to Mike. Now, Mike now has gotten his 2 contributions. So Mike, $25 of that has gone to his wallet, and the other $25 now is going to be used to loop Mike around right away to the end of the line. Now, if I asked most of you, and some of you have probably gone ahead, because every time I do this with people, they say, okay, I'm just going to go ahead. I see where he's going with that. If I ask you right now, where is Mike at now in the line that he's been looped around? Many of you will have looped him around back behind Kim, because originally we said it's going to be Mike, Joe, Linda, Dave, Kim. And right away, you've already made a mistake.
So excited. Have not been paid since joined 2 weeks ago. That's kind of funny, because I got paid, and I think I joined about 2 weeks ago, like not a week and a half ago. I don't see any slides. They don't have any slides, I don't think. Y'all tell us anything that system not working that's percent.
Mistake about how they work. Mistake about how the Infinity Line works. Because remember, at this exact moment in time, and this happens instantaneously, the only people who are actually in the line are Mike, Joe, and Linda. So Mike doesn't loop around back behind Kim. Mike now loops around back behind Linda. Hopefully you guys caught that. So the new order of the line is now Joe, who's first now in the new receiver position, Linda, and Mike. Okay, so the line has already been rearranged. It's Joe, Linda, Mike. Okay, and remember, now that Joe has already sent his $25 forward, remember, and Linda has already sent her $25 forward, what you end up with now is Mike is now in that first sender position, because Mike is the only one so far who has $25 to send forward. So Mike's $25 goes to Joe. Okay, you guys starting to see how all of a sudden it starts to trip your brain up a little bit. Okay, but Mike's 25 goes to Joe, and now that's it, right? Mike goes to Joe, and now we're waiting to see what happens next. And lo and behold, a quarter of a second later, Dave joins the Infinity Line. Dave is the second sender, so Dave's $25 contribution also goes to Joe. Okay, what happens now? Now Joe has received 2 contributions, one to his wallet. And now it's Joe's time to loop back around to the end of the line. Where does he loop at? He loops back behind Dave, not behind Kim, because she's not here yet. He loops back behind Dave. So if you're writing this down, and I hope you are, so you can look at it later, the new order of the line is now Linda, Mike, Dave, Joe. Linda, Mike, Dave, Joe. Okay. Joe came back in at the end of the line. Linda is now at the front of the line. Remember, she's in a receiver position. And the next person who is set up to send, who hasn't sent yet, is Joe. Joe now sends forward his $25 contribution. It goes all the way to the next person to receive, which is Linda. So Linda has one contribution, and we're waiting. And then Kim joins. Quarter of a second later, half a second later, a minute later, whatever. Kim joins the infinity line. Kim's $25 goes all the way to the next person to receive. That's Linda. And now Linda has her second contribution. One's to her wallet. One is gonna loop her around. You guys are probably already catching on. Where does she loop at now? Finally, somebody's correctly looping back behind Kim. And what is the new order of the infinity line at this point? Mike, Dave, Joe, Kim, Linda. All right. And now Linda popped into the end of the line with $25 to go forward. Mike is now back in the receiver position at the front of the line. So Linda's $25 goes up to Mike. Mike has $25 as a contribution, and Mike is waiting now for the next person to come into the infinity line for him to get his second contribution, and it goes all over again. So for those of you that are writing this down, I want you to think about this for a moment. We started off and we said, here's the order, the first 5 people: Mike, Joe, Linda, Dave, Kim. Okay, that was the order: Mike, Joe, Linda, Dave, Kim. But now the order is Mike, Dave, Joe, Kim, Linda. It's completely jumbled in a complete jumbled order now. But if you went through that exercise with me, it makes 100% perfect sense that that's how it should be ordered, because it's not just people receiving their contributions and then they just drop off. It's receiving their contributions, instantly looping around, right? With a new timestamp, which means they're constantly checking in between other people.
Now, if you had 100,000 people join in a couple days, 100,000 people, I mean, that's enough people. Most of the people, just about everybody inside the system should at least got a $25 or $50 payment by now. If people in chat saying they still haven't got paid. I have not been paid since I joined 2 weeks ago. If you have 100,000 people going through the system, they haven't got one payment. My people say I scammed them, having them sign up for something that doesn't pay. How people get multiple cycles when people who have been in since February 27th haven't received one. And this is March the 13th. So he's saying each person gets 3. You pass up one. I mean, I understand what he's saying, but he's telling me since launch, this was on launch day, he said 100,000 people had tried to hit the system the same day. And since then, more people supposedly have joined, and it still have been getting traffic onto the site. So by now, everybody should have at least gotten at least a couple payments on the infinity line by now, at least. I've seen people make $4,000 and $6,000 withdrawals, while some people have not been able to make 0 withdrawals. Some people have payments that are pending. And some people are still having issues with the system. That's what I was saying in my last video. The issues with the system need to be fixed before you move on to all this other extra stuff. Why not man up and get more people and let those people come in and fix the issues before you try to add more stuff to the system? That makes sense to me.
People, which is how the algorithm actually works and how it's supposed to work. Think about this for a moment. That was 5 people. So imagine you trying to figure that out in your head. We're not supposed to figure for 10 people, or 20, or 50, you don't have or 100, or 1,000.
Engineers who've done it the right way, then they need to be fired and we need to hire somebody else. We're not supposed to be figuring this out. I understand this is an example. I understand that. We're not supposed to be figuring this out in our head because we don't know who got in where. That's number one. We don't know if Mike got in at 1, Cindy got in at 2, Jill got in at 3, and Don got in at 4. That's something the computer's supposed to do. We were explaining this list. If Cindy got in at 2 o'clock and Bob got in at 2 o'clock in 1 second, then Cindy's payment went to Bob. And that's how it's supposed to work by time.
or 10,000, right? The longer the line gets, right, the further you loop back when you finally do get your contribution. And now you're back further, and you're waiting for your turn to be in the receiver position again.
I've got one payment. I see it's still kind of confusing because I don't know if I'm supposed to get 2 cycles. Do I get cycles from $25 and the 50, or is it just I get 125, 150, and I go to the back of the line? Or do I get 225, 250, then go to the back of the line? If the system working the way it's supposed to, I'm supposed to get a 25, 25, a 50, and then the 50, and then I go to the back of the line. I've only got 125 and 150. I guess I'm waiting another 25, another 50 before I go to the back of the line, but that's the way it's supposed to work, my understanding.
So this is why we had people who, at the very beginning, are like, hey, man, I don't understand what's going on. You know, the Infinity line started. I made hundreds of dollars very, very quickly, right? Because they were in very, very early. And they said, but now it seems like it's taking longer. You know, I was getting multiple loops a day, but now, it took me 6 days to get one. Is it stalled? Is it not? No, it's not stalled. It's not broken. The rules did not change. You should be telling them,
you're fine. You're in line. Let me take care of the people who are not getting the pay. The people who are at the bottom who are expecting to get paid did not. The people who are tied up into the system, whose payments are pending, let me get to those people. You are fine. You'll go back to the line and get more money. These people haven't got one payment.
It's math. It is not magic. There's no magical $25 ferry just throwing $25 in because they feel like you've been waiting too long, guys. It's math. The longer the line gets, you're going to come out of the receiver position, loop back to the back of the line, and it will actually seem to take you longer to get to the receiver position until the mass momentum matches the mass of people in the line, right? And we've been around for 2 weeks. I want to remind everybody, we've been around for 2 weeks. We've done very well in 2 weeks. We're going to talk about that here in a moment. But as the momentum picks up more and more, it starts to move faster and faster and faster, so that even though the line is getting longer,
like you promised. If people haven't got cycled one time, and you're saying got cycled more than once because they've been in line first, okay, that's fine. Well, haven't people been in for at least a week or two haven't got one Infinity line payment? Because according to the way this system works, you cannot skip. Everybody has to come in at 25 or 50. It's mandatory. You can't skip a product line. You have to go from the 25 to the 50 to the 75, all the way up to the 100,000 if that's what you want to do. There is no skipping the line, so it should be more. It should be enough for everybody to get that 25 or 50.
with more momentum, you can still maintain the frequency of the line because you have more momentum, okay? And we're just getting started here, right? There's maybe 16,000 people, members who have already joined the community, paid. I'm not talking about from, free or whatever. Just in the first 2 weeks, about 16,000, right? We'll probably end up about 50,000 by the end of the month. And then, and we're really still just getting started. And then we'll start kicking into real momentum. And there'll be hundreds of thousands, right? And then there'll be millions. And the momentum will drive this line faster and faster and faster. But is it stalled? Is it broke? No. If you think about that exercise that I just did, and if you're writing this down, you guys are right with it. If you're not writing this down, it's probably like mind blown, like, oh my God, like that I couldn't even follow that. Can you say it again? No, I'm not going to say it again, but this is being recorded, so you can watch this as many times as you want. But you understand why it is that when somebody says, hey, I got in, this is my username is tired of waiting, and I got in yesterday at 1:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got to be number 13,450th to get in. I think I'm 13,450th to get in. How long exactly is it going to take me to loop? You can understand that why when that comes into our customer service department, you're not getting a response to that, right? Who can figure that out, guys? I just showed you 5 people, and some of you right now, your brain is mush already with 5 people. You can't follow that 5 people.
Again, the computer is supposed to do this.
Imagine when you're trying to, you're asking somebody to game theory 13,000 people, right?
There should be not one human going in doing this. It's supposed to be a computer supposed to be doing this, not a person going in and doing the adjustments and trying to see who's getting paid and who's not getting paid. If that's going on, it's pretty much a flaw already. It's not supposed to be any person going behind the scenes saying, "Oh, Matt got paid here. Let's get him. Let's release that payment. Oh, Susie got paid here. John got paid here. Eddie got paid here." It's supposed to be a computer-generated system. When you go in, the computer figures it out. Bam, your money goes there. Do you have engineers or do you not have engineers working on this?
It's not possible to do that. That's why it's not run by people. This is run completely by an advanced level algorithm that does all these calculations. If it was run by people, it would be subject to mistakes, right? It would be doing it completely wrong. People would get confused. They say, "I quit. I can't figure it out," right? It's run by an algorithm, and the algorithm is working perfectly, which is why
if it's working perfectly, not come online on the next week's training, on the next training, come on and show your face, give us your full name, and do nothing but live questions and answer those questions. And don't do any more of these presentations. Come on, bring people on live, do the Zoom call, and bring people on live so they can ask you real questions instead of bringing on people that we can't see. Having these trainings where you have people come on that look like you've already pre-selected to come on. Let's go ahead and just do this the right way. I mean, let's let people air out and see what's going on. I mean, you have people still complaining, and people still saying the system is not right. And I understand you've been around for 2 weeks, but in 2 weeks you should have gotten a lot done. If you have time to go out and get another training set up and get that completed and get that worked on for another $25 a year, you got time to do that. You got time to fix the system and make sure that the kinks are out. The one thing I like about Chick-fil-A, when you go to Chick-fil-A, it's like a well-oiled machine. You go to Chick-fil-A, they can have 100 customers. They're getting you in, they're getting you out. They have a proven system that they're working on. They've been working on. Even if it's a brand new store, they may have it messed up in a couple of days, but they're going to figure out the system. That system is going to be running. You need you guys to get off your butts and go fix the system and get it done correctly. If you're doing that, that's fine. Keep working on it. Get it right. I don't want to see any more new products. I don't want to see any more of these people coming on talking to the Sunshine Company. We want to see you answer some tough questions, not just the questions that you're presenting yourself. Talk to the people in the chat. Bring the people in the chat on live. Open up the call so people in the chat can come in and talk to you, and let's see what's going on.
Again, some people right away made hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Other people are like, well, it's not moving as fast as I want to. I've only looped around 2 or 3 times, and I thought that by now, I would have looped around 20 or 30 times, right? Okay, and they're trying to figure that out. But here's what I want to tell you. The reality is this. This was developed for the little guy. The infinity loop is a launch point, not a landing point. What does that mean? It means if this is the best that you can do, and this is what we did it for. We said we wanted to give people the ability to enter into our community for the lowest possible level of resources. If that's it, so we didn't want to, discriminate and say, oh, you have to be somebody who has $500 or $1,000 worth of Bitcoin if you want to play with the big boys, right? We've seen so many other companies do that and communities do that, and we didn't like that. And we said, listen, we want to make it so that anybody who really is looking for a chance, to be able to do something and do something big. Some people can walk right in here and they can go right to the top. They can say, I'm coming in, I got $187,000 worth of Bitcoin. I'm going to go all the way to the top. Crown Ambassador, day one. But that's not most people in the world, and we knew that. And we said, listen, some people, for them to get together a $25 membership and $25 for the Infinity line, that is the best that they can do. So if that's the best that you can do, then do it, right? Then do it. Get there. But that is a launching point for you, not a landing point. If in your mind you're thinking that, wow, I'm just going to get into the infinity line and all my troubles are over, I'm going to make thousands of dollars a day just sitting back, hitting refresh on my screen, that is not what it was designed for. That's not how it works. And now you're not talking about math, you're talking about magic. The point of you getting in the infinity line, if that's the best you can do, is twofold. Number one is it allows you to basically sit back and wait for your time to loop around a few times so you can develop enough additional resources through our crowdfund initiative and our rewards plan.
Number one, if I
To
put my
get
money
to
in the system, I
higher
should be able to
levels.
do
That
what I
should not
please.
be
If I
your
want to
idea.
put
If
in
I'm going to get
$25
this and
and
spend
$50
this
and
and
go spend my
whatever,
money
and
on
go buy a
coffee,
couple of coffee.
that's my prerogative. Don't tell me how to spend my money. If I want to put money into a system and let that system pay me because that's the way it was designed to do, then pay me the way that's supposed to, that the system is designed to pay me. Don't tell me I need to put my money in the system and put my money in and upgrade because you want me to upgrade. It's my money, it's my decision. I don't like that. You don't come tell people that, well, you put your money in the system was designed for you to spend a $25, $50. It may not be. But I may not want to go further than 25. I'll figure it out later. I may just want to let this be my passive income system where I only do that. And I might use this to do something else. I might use this to pay off credit card bills. That may be my agenda.
That should be, hey,
And
I'm going to
also,
use
you
that
said
to
you
get
do
to
not have
higher
to recruit.
levels so I
If
can
I
get
have to go up
into
to the
the
$75
real
level and
significant
above, that
part of
means
the
I have to
rewards
recruit.
plan so I can start
On the
achieving
25
maximum
and
leverage.
$50 level, I don't have to recruit. Anything above that, I have to bring people in to make money, and then the cycle starts. So if you're telling me the system will say you don't have to recruit, you come in and make money, then that's what people joined over. Now you tell them, come on in, invest your money here, upgrade to levels where you have to recruit, even though you don't have to recruit. That sounds a little fishy, a little strange here.
But the other thing is, speaking of leverage, a lot of people seem to be forgetting. The moment you're in just the $25 infinity line, the 50% rule kicks in for you and already takes effect. What does that mean? If you know how our rewards plan works, every single time from $75 or above that someone actually puts in a contribution, company's going to take a $10 profit and promotion fee, and then it's split up 50-50, 50 into the unilevel, 50 into the matrix, right? And everything going to the unilevel side is yours. It's yours with the exception of those third and 10th packages. But it's yours. Those third and 10th are passives, but the rest is yours. That means that you could literally just come into the $25 infinity line, go out and talk to someone who has much higher level of resources than you. Maybe they have $10,000 that they're going to actually contribute to actually go up to those levels. Maybe
I gotta
50,000.
stop
It
that.
could be the 187,000 to go all the way up to
If you're
the
talking to
all the way
people
up
who
to
have
the
25
crown
and
ambassador level, it doesn't
$50 and
matter.
they can't afford to get any more, you think they're gonna go out and just happen to run into somebody who has $180,000? That does not make sense. If I knew somebody that had $100,000 or $180,000 to get all the way in the system, I would recommend it. I would tell them to go to the system that I've been promoting, the one that pays you 250%, where you truly don't have to do any recruiting. Let me pull up my calculator just for a minute here so I can tell you and show you what $180,000 will get you, and there's other systems that I actually do videos on as well. If my computer would act right. I don't want to take away from this video for too long, but it's already an hour-long video. My computer's getting slow here. I guess I gotta upgrade my computer. So the computer gets slow as I don't know what. Okay, I guess that's not working. I don't know why it's so slow. Let's see if I can try this again. Calculator. Yeah, this computer's getting slow. It's time to look for another computer. taking care for the calculator I have to open up. I'm just going to pull up my phone's calculator, which shouldn't take that long at all. Now, let me just make sure. Where's the percent? Okay. So I'm doing this on my phone. I want to show you live. My computer's not coming up. 180, 0.50, where's the percent sign? That's $450,000, and you don't have to do any recruiting at all. You don't have to do anything. If I knew somebody who had 180,000, I would send them over to you with like. And think about that: $450,000 divided by 10 because they pay it to you in 10. You get $45,000 a month for the fourth month. Fifth month, you're gonna have all your money back. So no, I would not recommend that amount of money for somebody to put into the system. If you're gonna put in 25 or 50, yes, you can do that. But I wouldn't advise anybody to go in further than that until they even. I mean, because they haven't really fixed the issues. They're still talking about issues in this week here on this particular video. I mean, $45,000 a month. You put in 180,000. That's not going to happen in this system. This is a consistent $450 a month for 10 months, and then you have more benefits in the other programs as well. But let's move on with this particular video.
Doesn't matter. Roughly 50% of that. So 50% minus the $10 profit and promotion fees that we're taking, right? That's all yours. So at a $25 infinity line level, somebody comes in that you actually talk to, you refer them, they actually see the program, they get it, they want to engage. Roughly 50% of that. So 50% minus the $10 at once or over a period of weeks or months or whatever. That's all yours. 50% of it is yours. In the global infinity line, and with only $25 put in by.
And also, if you get into the other program, you don't have to pay $180,000. You don't have to pay a yearly fee. You only pay the highest level, which is $100,000. If you want to add more, you add more. It's up to you. You can get in at the $100,000 level and just stay there. You don't have to put in the $80,000. It's your decision. And this is you have to put in $180,000 to get up to that particular level because you have to pay for every single level. That's supposed to benefit the people that's in the infinity line and the people that's already in the system. But he's saying you get paid off that as well. That's fine and dandy. But for the person who's investing $180,000, you got to get an investment for them. You want to look out for them as well. I would tell them to put your money in cwiliamsadd. cwiliamsadd has a better system, has a better program. It's better. It's just better things going on from what I see right now. I digress.
You can't do that anywhere else in the world. You can't do that anywhere else. Everywhere else in the world says, hey, if you're not in position, you don't get it. Everyone else in the world says, hey, because you couldn't afford to play with the big boys, you don't get to actually earn like the big boys. So we're just going to give all of that to the big boys, even though it was your effort. That's everywhere else in the world. You can't do that anywhere else. It's only here. Everywhere else in the world says, hey, if you're not in position, that we're not doing it. That we're allowing you to put yourself in position. So you understand how the algorithm works. You understand with just 5 people, when you look at where it ends up after just those 5 people going around, you understand that, again, it's completely out of order from where it started at, but it's working completely perfectly. And you understand as it gets longer and longer and longer, right? You may have been in a receiving position before, but now it's going to take you a little bit longer to get back to the receiving position until the momentum catches up to the mass of the line. But then understand this too. You know, I talked to a friend of mine last night. I know he's probably on, and I'm going to give you credit, but I don't know if you want me to say your name, but I'm at least going to say, man, thanks for this, D, because this is very helpful. It's a great way to think about this. If you just looped in the $25 infinity line, okay? It was $25 contribution. If you just loop once per month, that's it, once per month, that would be $300 of complete passive contributions that you receive for your one-time $25 contribution. $300. Okay? If you loop twice, it would be $600.
I actually hope that's how it works out. I hope y'all still. I hope this actually stays around that long.
That would be $300.
I don't know. That's a nice analogy. Who knows how long Bitlocity is going to stay around? You guys might be going in another week. That's a nice analogy to throw out there, but I mean, the people got in, they didn't get in just to, just because they wanted, because they, people didn't just get in just to get in. They got in because they were expecting to not be able to recruit at the $25, $50 level. The people who know how to recruit, they already brought their people in. Like in the comment section, it says, people say they got scammed. They signed up for something that hasn't paid them. It's been 2 weeks. I know you can't make promises. I know you can't say I'm going to promise you're going to make this amount of money. But is the system actually working the way it's supposed to? It doesn't sound like it.
3 times, and again, we're just dealing with the $25 line here. It's more in the $50. If you look 3 times in the $25 line, 3 times a month, it's $900. Let's put that in perspective for you. $25 to loop once a month for $300 return over 3 times, and again, we're twice a month for $600 return, or 3 times a month for $900 return in contributions. 3 times in the $25 line, 3 times a month. If you could find a bank account, I'm in the United.
I'll take that.
Let's put that in perspective for you. And I know that our bank, our savings accounts pay once a month for $300 over the year, 0.5%. But if you could find a bank account that was paying 3% interest, 3% interest bank account right now, you could find a bank account. Which you probably can't, but if you could, for you to actually get $300 1 year, you have to have $10,000 sitting in that bank account. For you to get $600 1 year, you have to have $20,000 sitting in that bank account. And for you to get $900 1 year, you have to have $30,000 that you do not touch, never make a withdrawal from, sitting in that bank account 1 year straight. Or you can come to our community. For you to get $25 into an infinity line and sit back once or twice or 3 times a month and do the same that you would have to do with $10, $20, or $30,000 of real cash sitting in a bank account that you could. There is no comparison here to what we're offering, to what you can get anywhere else.
And sit back and loop once or twice or 3 times per month.
There may not be a comparison.
That you would have to do with $10, $20, or
the system isn't working.
$30,000 of real cash sitting in a bank account that you couldn't touch.
If you're still having issues,
There is no comparison here
comparing
to what
yourself.
we're
I mean, it's like I can
what
say
you can get anywhere else on the planet.
I can go to the moon in 30 minutes. But if it's not working right, what am I doing? I mean, I would agree that there's not a system that allows the little guy to get paid on a bigger level. In some systems, I'm not sure about all of them, but I know yours is. You say that's what's going on. We'll see. But I don't know anybody who's going to bring somebody in who's going to pay $130,000, $180,000 to get all in on a system like this. I don't know. If somebody has. I mean, that's fine. That's all very dandy. I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen no more than once a year, if that often, if that at all. Let's move on.
People are. I want to go. I want to see. I thought I was going to make $1,000 standing in the video line. I understand that. I also understand this. You understand what we just went through. You understand now the algorithm, how it works. You understand just how it can with just 5 people, how it's hard to wrap your brain around. So you can almost understand what happens when there's 10, when there's 50, when there's 100, when there's 1,000, when there's 10,000, right?
I also understand this.
And then you say, well, when you guys are doing the presentation, why aren't you presenting it exactly like that? Imagine if we presented it exactly like that. Imagine if we had, we definitely have to spend 6 hours on the presentation just talking about it. So we're simply trying to get a concept.
When you guys are doing the presentation,
wouldn't have to spend any time.
Why aren't you presenting it exactly like that? Imagine if we presented it exactly like that. Imagine if we had, we definitely have to spend 6 hours on the presentation just talking about
explaining all this if you would just go in.
So we're simply trying to give you a concept.
What the infinity line is about. It's a global bill. You get the benefit from the efforts of every single member of Bitlocity in the entire world, whether you personally referred them or not. You get into a position to be able to go out there, and again, it's a launching point, not a landing. Your goal should not be to get into the infinity line and just relax.
If that's all I can afford, I'm going to get in the infinity line and I'm going to relax. You still realize that there is the C-19 virus going around. There's millions of people who are out of work, and they're more than likely putting money in here just to see if they can get a return on their investment. There's a lot of people that don't have work right now. A lot of people that are out of their jobs. So they put money in the system, put in the faith in your system to see if they can get some money back. And okay, that's what you're going to do.
If you really want to contribute to the community and benefit from the community, your goal is always forward motion. It's always more leverage, more knowledge, etc. Those are going to go together. Those are going to put you in a position to really be able to build and really be able to accelerate yourself to the speed of success. If you really want to contribute to the community and benefit from the community, your goal is always forward motion. But if you get what I just said, you understand why the infinity line is the best thing. You understand who it was built for, who it was designed for. You understand that, again, if you can go further than the infinity line from day one, you should, you almost must. Okay? It is interesting to me that we have people who are coming on Facebook and saying something's wrong with the infinity line, it's not working now. What I do find at least refreshing is a person will come on a day later, 2 days later, and say, my bad, I said the infinity line wasn't working.
Did you just say he's having problems with the infinity line in
It
this
is
particular
interesting
video?
to me that we have people who are coming on Facebook and saying
Did you
something's
just
wrong
say
with
it
the
was
infinity
running
line, it's not
slower
working
than
now. What I
normal?
do find at least refreshing is a
Did
person
you
will
just
come
say
on a day
people
later,
who
2
are
days later, and said, my bad,
expecting to get
I
more
said
money
the
next
infinity
year,
line
so
wasn't
we have
working.
to calm down and slow down? The system is not going to move as fast because other people are cycling in. Did you say in the last webinar that there are payments that are, I forget what the words you use, there are payments that are still hung up in the system? Isn't that all from you on last webinars? But let's move on.
I just got an infinity line payment. They must have fixed it, right? And it's not fixed. It was never broke. It's just doing exactly what it's supposed to do. But I also find it interesting that while we have people saying, complaining about they haven't gotten the $25 infinity line payment yet, we have other people sending out messages saying, this week, I made more from the crowdfunding initiative this week than I earned at my full-time job all of last year. In 1 week, not just 1 week, the first week, where when you are in a pre-launch, it's always choppy. There's always some issues to resolve. There's user errors. There's things that people don't understand. But in that first week, you got people saying they earned more in 1 week than they earned all last year. You got tons of people saying they got more through the crowdfunding initiative in that 1 week, than they got from their full-time job, for 2 or 3 months of working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, plus traffic going back. This is the best initiative that's ever been created, and it's just gotten started. The masses haven't gotten it yet. Every single person that's on this webinar right now, watching it live or watching that's being broadcast on YouTube, etc., you are here before the masses. Some of you are like, I wish I was first in the infinity line. You are first. You are here before the masses, because the masses are coming. Okay? That's all we hear every single day is all of these big leaders in other companies that are quietly getting their teams ready to hit mass over to Bitlocity. Now that
I don't know where you heard that at, but I will believe it when I see it. I will believe it when I see it.
That's all we hear every single day is all of these big leaders in other companies that are quietly getting their teams ready to move in mass over to Bitlocity. So I'm telling you guys right now, again, think about what I said. If anybody has any questions, play this back. Let them hear it. Let them try to write those 5 names out. Mike, Joe, Linda, Dave, Kim, and see how it ends up as Mike, Dave, Joe, Kim, and Linda, and they can't figure out how. Let them do that, and let them walk through that exercise to get the idea of what's going on. And be a little patient, because as this momentum kicks in, you're going to be very, very happy that you're here. And again, even just being at a $25 living line, start talking to some people with better resources than you. You're going to be very, very happy about that 50% rule that we have in place that's going to allow you to be able to really benefit from our rewards plan faster, so you can accelerate yourself faster. And you can start making more of an impact for yourself, for your family, for your community. Sir, I'm going to turn it back to you. Hopefully that helped people. They were able to write it down, but even if they weren't, they can watch this video time and time again, and I think it's going to clarify. So you can accelerate yourself faster.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Coach Brian. Really appreciate that breakdown. That was awesome. So we've got also Coach Solomon on the line now. Coach Solomon has a computer engineering background, he has a few thoughts about things. I want to bring him on also as well. And Coach Sullivan, are you there, sir?
Well, awesome. Thank
Yes,
you so
I
much,
am.
Coach Brian. Really
All right. Well,
appreciate that,
welcome to the call. Now, I know you have,
that was
you know,
awesome.
your view
So we've
of,
got also
everything
Coach
that's
Solomon
happening
on the
with
line now. Coach
Bitlocity. And
Solomon
what did you
has
want to share with
a
us this
computer
morning?
engineering background, and
So
he has a few
just
thoughts
to
about some things. I
give
want to bring him on also
Kind
as
of funny
well.
how some
And
people,
Coach
you
Solomon,
know,
are you there, sir?
yes, I am.
while it's live, but
All
people that
right.
come in the
Welcome
chat
to the
don't have
call.
that
Now, I know you
opportunity.
have,
It seems like it's
a
always
view
the same
of,
people that get on,
everything that's happening
and
with
they're able to make
Bitlocity, and
comment.
what did you want to share with us this morning?
Everybody on the call an idea of
So
where you
just
are and
to
what
give
you can expect and what I've seen over the last 25 years of doing this. For the last 25 years, I've owned 2 MLM companies, worked in the field, built organizations, worked in corporate. But for the last 15 years, I've been providing
everybody on the call an
software
idea
to
of where you
the
are
MLM
and
space.
what you
And in
can
that
expect
time
and what
period,
I've
I bet
seen
you
over the
I
last
have
25
launched
years
over
of
1,000
doing
companies.
this. Over the last 25 years, I've
That
owned 2
being said,
MLM companies, worked in the field,
there's
built
always that learning
organizations,
curve.
worked in
There's
corporate.
always
But for the last
those little
15
things
years,
that come up that
I've been
have
providing
to be fixed that
software
were
to
not
the
anticipated.
MLM space.
But one
And
thing
in
that
that
I can
time
definitely
period,
tell
I
you
bet
is
you I have
over that
launched over
period,
1,000
very,
companies.
very, very, very,
That
very
being
seldom
said,
do you ever see
there's always that learning
anything
curve. There's
go off
always
without a hitch.
those little things that come up that
That being
have to
said,
be fixed that were not
you have to understand
anticipated.
that you're in this
But
thing
one
at the
thing that
very
I can
beginning.
definitely tell you
And when
is
I say the very
over
beginning, I
that
do mean
period,
the very beginning.
very, very, very,
I
very,
don't think
very
anybody's disputing
seldom
that
do
you're
you
going to have
ever
issues
see
when you go to a launch.
anything go off
But how
without
long
a
do you go
hitch.
through those issues after going through your launch period?
That
And
being
2 weeks
said,
later,
you have to
how
understand
much
that
more
you're
long do
in
we have
this
to wait
thing
for
at
these
the very
issues to be
beginning.
fixed?
And when I say the
This
very
is the
beginning, I
part
do
where
mean the very beginning.
everybody always wants to, once something becomes successful and becomes running like clockwork, everybody always wants to say, well, man, you guys are lucky. You know, you got in at the very beginning and, you know, you're there now. Well, what they
This
don't
is the
see
part where
is everything
everybody
that the
always
company
wants
has
to,
gone
once something
to get
becomes
to where they're
successful
at.
and becomes running
So
like
just be
clockwork,
patient,
everybody always wants to say, well, man,
understand
you
where you're
guys are
at,
lucky.
understand
You
the
know,
opportunity that
you
is in
got in
front
at
of
the
you.
very beginning and, you know,
Tell
you're
everybody
there now.
that you
But
know
what they don't see is
how
everything that the company has
Bitlocity,
gone through to get to
people
where
that you
they're at.
care about, people that you want to
So
benefit,
just be patient,
let them know about Bitlocity. There will
understand
be
where
some
you're at,
ups and downs. That
understand
is
the opportunity
perfectly
that
normal.
is in front of
There
you.
are going to be some glitches. That is
Tell
perfectly
everybody
normal.
that you
There's
know
going to be some things that don't work right. Perfectly
Bitlocity,
normal in a pre-launch phase.
people that you care
There are
about,
a lot of
people
things
that you want to
because the way
benefit,
Bitlocity
let
is
them know
set up.
about
That
Bitlocity. There
Bitlocity
will be some ups and downs.
is
That
really
is perfectly
kind
normal.
of figuring
There are
out
going
a
to be
few
some
things
glitches.
as
That is
we move
perfectly
along
normal.
because
There's going to be some
some
things that
things
don't
just
work
cannot
right.
anticipate.
Perfectly normal in a pre-launch phase.
Perfectly normal.
There are a lot of
Absolutely
things
normal.
because the way
So you should be
Bitlocity
excited
is
about
set
it.
up,
You should
that
be excited about
Bitlocity
where you're at. You should
is
understand
really
that
kind of
there are going to be
figuring
a
out a
couple
few
ups and
things
downs,
as
but
we
you will
move
ride these
along
things through.
because some
And
things
if
you
you're in
just
at the
cannot
very beginning of
anticipate.
this thing, which everybody on this
Perfectly
phone
normal.
call is right now,
Absolutely normal. So you should be
understand
excited
where you're
about
at.
it. You should be excited about where
It is
you're
not
at. You
always
should understand that
smooth at the
there are going to
beginning,
be a couple ups and downs,
but at the
and
end,
you will ride these things
when
through.
everything's worked out and
And if
Bitlocity
you're in at
actually
the very
launches
beginning of this
and that
thing, which
momentum
everybody on
picks
this
up,
phone
you
call
will be
is right now,
extremely happy that you're in now. And
understand where you're
everything
at.
that you might think is
It
not
is
working,
not
which is actually
always
working properly,
smooth at the
all right,
beginning,
you will be viewing that
but
in
at the
your rear
end,
view, and you will be
when
extremely
everything's worked out
happy
and
that you're
Bitlocity actually launches and that
All
momentum
right.
picks up, you
Excellent.
will
Thank you
be
so much for that, Coach
extremely
Solomon.
happy
Look forward
that
to
you're in now.
We will
And
see.
everything that you might
We
think is
will
not
see.
working, which is actually working
having you on
properly,
future
right?
trainings as
You will
well.
be
Thank you, sir.
viewing that in your rear view,
All
and
right,
you will
ladies
be
and gentlemen. So
extremely
let's
happy
continue
that you're in.
on. And so what I'm going to do now is move on
All
to the
right.
next topic today,
Excellent.
and
Thank you
that
so
is
much for that, Coach
unconfirmed
Solomon. Look forward to
packages. So many of you know.
That's the word I was talking about. They said we're stuck inside the system that they couldn't get
having
out,
you
but
on
yet the system is
future
working the way
trainings
it's
as
supposed
well.
to.
Thank you, sir. All
How
right,
is it
ladies and
working the
gentlemen,
way
so
it's
let's
supposed to? There's
continue on.
unconfirmed packages
And
in the
so what
system.
I'm going to do now is move on to the next
That
topic today, and that
hundreds
is
and hundreds
unconfirmed
of
packages. So many
unconfirmed
of you know,
packages have been confirmed as of this point. And if you have a package that you paid for and it's not showing as active in your back office, you know you need to send a support email. We're going to review exactly what you need to say in that support email here in just a few moments. But many of our members can tell you that those individuals that didn't have their packages confirmed, they can tell you their packages are confirmed now because the developers and the programmers have been working nonstop and will continue to do so. Also, we want to talk about withdrawal wallet addresses. So again, everyone needs to know that once you make a withdrawal, ladies and gentlemen, that cannot be reversed. They are irreversible, right? So you need to confirm your withdrawal wallet address before you actually make that withdrawal. We want to double check that. That's very important. Once that money is withdrawn, that wallet address that you provided, ladies and gentlemen, no one can change that. All right? We're going to talk a little bit about the blockchain transaction ID. When you are sending in a support email, it's important that you provide screenshots and as much information as you possibly can, including the transaction ID. This is a 64-character code, ladies and gentlemen, that anyone can click on and get the verification that those funds were actually sent. We're going to show you how to find that transaction ID. including the transaction ID.
Of course, we're also talking about
support email and the details that you need to include.
that anyone can click
So, for example,
to get verification
if you happen to have unconfirmed packages, you want to
show you
use the
how to
subject
find
unconfirmed package.
transaction
You want
ID.
to include, of course, your username, screenshots of the payments that you have made,
support
and perhaps
emails
even
and the
screenshots
details
of
that
your
you
back
need to
office.
include. So, for
Next,
example,
if you have
if you
sent in
happen to
multiple
have
payments,
unconfirmed
maybe
packages,
the
you want
$25
to
admin
use
fee,
the subject
the system
unconfirmed
wasn't moving
package,
fast
and
enough,
you
or
include,
you
of
didn't
course,
understand what
your
was going on, and
username,
you made multiple payments.
screenshots of the payments
You
that
can
you
send
have
in an
made,
email.
and perhaps
You
even
want a subject
screenshots of your back
title
office.
that as multiple
Next,
payments. And
if you
again,
have
you want to
sent in
include
multiple payments,
screenshot, which
maybe
will
the
include
$25
the
admin
blockchain
fee,
transaction
the
ID.
system wasn't
That's
moving fast
64
enough, or you
character
didn't understand what
code,
was going on,
which
and you
lets
made multiple
the
payments,
developers know
you can send
exactly
in an email.
when that money
You
was
want a
sent,
subject
when it was received.
title that
All
as
right, of
multiple
course, you
payments,
want to
and
include
again,
your
you want to
username as
include
well. Okay.
screenshots, which will
Now,
include
let's say, for
the
example, you are
blockchain
having an issue where
transaction
you
ID,
can't log
which is
into
that
your back office, or
64-character
those issues
code,
have been resolved
which
already.
lets
But if
the
you're having that
developers
issue,
know
then
exactly
you simply would
when that
title
money was
that
sent and
email
when it
as
was
can't log in
received.
and
All
provide
right, of course,
your
you want to
login,
include your
provide
username
your
as
details,
well,
including
okay?
your username.
Let's
Okay,
say,
so
for
we don't
example,
need your
you are
password.
having an issue
We
where
just
you
need your
can't log into
username.
your back
All
office.
right.
Most of these issues
Next,
have been resolved
maybe you
already.
need to
But if
change
you're
your
having that
wallet
issue,
address.
then you
You
simply
can
would
send an
title
email
that
in for
email
that
as
as
can't
well
log
and
in
provide
and provide
details so that your
provide
identity
your
can be
details, including
verified.
your
Now,
username.
a lot of work is
Okay,
being
so we
done
don't need
in
your
the
password.
website, as
We
you
just
know,
need
and in
your
the back office
username.
right now.
All right.
And that work is
Next,
actually
maybe you need to change
priority.
your wallet
And as
address.
soon as that work is
You can send
completed,
an
the
email
educational
in for
videos
that
will be
as well and
uploaded
provide
to your back office. It
details
can
so
happen
that
any day now.
your
It could be
identity
today,
can
it could
be
be tomorrow.
verified.
But
Now, a
as
lot of
we
work is being
include
done
these
in
other
the
things,
website,
which
as
are a
you know, in the
priority
back office
right
right
now,
now,
once
and
they
that
are
work is
done, the
actually
educational
it's
videos
priority.
will be
And as
released.
soon
So
as
don't
that work
stress
is
about
completed,
those
educational
things, ladies
videos
and
will
gentlemen. In
be
fact, don't stress about
uploaded in
any
your
of this.
back
We
office.
are
It can happen
doing
any
something
day now. It could
extremely
be today, it
positive.
could
We
be
are
tomorrow.
absolutely going in
But
the right
as we
direction.
conclude
And
these
so
other things,
certainly
which
you
are a
don't want to
priority right
stress
now,
about that.
once they are
Okay.
done, then the
Again, it's
educational
important
videos
that you
will
read
be
the
released. So
policy and
don't stress
procedures
about
in detail.
those things,
You
ladies
find
and
them
gentlemen. In
in
fact,
your
don't
back
stress
office.
about
You
any
go
of
to
this. We are doing something
bitlocity.io.
extremely
You
positive.
can
We are
read those
absolutely
as
going
well.
in the
A lot
right
of work
direction.
has gone
And
into
so you
creating
certainly don't
those
want to
policies and procedures
stress
so
about
you
that.
can stay
Okay,
compliant in every
again, it's
aspect.
important that
And
you
so be
read
sure
the
that you read
policy
those,
and
ladies and gentlemen. That's
procedures
going to
in
help you
detail. You
understand
can
the
find them
velocity
in your back
even
office. You
more.
can go to
Okay? So now I'm going to
bitlocity.io.
just
You
review
can read those
common
as
errors.
well. A
You know,
lot of
in the
work
very
has
beginning,
gone into
most of the
creating
challenges that
those
people have
policies
had
and procedures
have
so
been
that we can
because
stay
of
compliant
common
in every
errors.
aspect.
So the first
And
thing
so be sure
is
that you
not
read
sending
those,
the
ladies and
correct
gentlemen. That's
amount
going to
of
help you
Bitcoin. Of course,
understand
when you go in
Bitlocity
and you want to pay
even
the
more.
admin fee or
Okay?
you want to
So now
purchase
I
a
want to
package,
just
ladies and
review
gentlemen,
common
the system's
errors.
going
You
to
know,
tell
in
you
the very
exactly how
beginning,
much Bitcoin
most of the
you send.
challenges
You're going
that
to send
people have
that
had
exact
have
amount.
been because
Some
of
people
common
are,
errors. So the
changing
first
the
thing
value.
is not
So
sending the
that
correct
Bitcoin,
amount of
a US
Bitcoin. Of course,
value
when you
that
go in
the
and you want to pay the
Bitlocity is
admin
providing
fee
you,
or you want
it
to
might say
purchase a package,
$24.95.
ladies and gentlemen,
Some people
the
are actually
system's
going
going to
in
tell
and
you
changing
exactly how
it
much
and
Bitcoin you
making
need
the
to
US
send.
value
You want to send
$25,
that exact
not
amount.
realizing
Some people
that they
are,
are screwing up the system.
changing the
You
value.
want to send the
So
exact
that
amount of
Bitcoin,
Bitcoin.
a
Don't
US
worry about
value
the
that
US
the Bitlocity
value.
is providing
All
you,
right. it might say $24.95. Some people are actually going in and changing that and making the US value
when you send money
$25,
out of your
now
wallet,
realizing
you want to make
that
sure
they
that
are
the amount of
chewing up the
Bitcoin that's
system,
going to
you want to
Bitlocity
send
is
the
the
exact
exact
amount
amount
of
that's
Bitcoin. Don't worry
requested.
about the
And you want to make
USD
sure that your
value.
wallet is
All right.
not
Some people are
deducting
sending
the
more
transaction
Bitcoin
fee
than is
from that amount
requested.
that
And so
Bitlocity
one of the
is
things you need to
requesting.
do is
So that means you
when
need
you
to
send
look
money
at
out
it
of your
very
wallet,
carefully
you want to
to
make
make
sure
sure
that the
that
amount of
is
Bitcoin
not
that's going
happening.
to
Of
Bitlocity
course, you
is the
can
exact
always
amount that's
copy the
requested.
amount of
And you want to
Bitcoin
make
by
sure that
clicking
your
on the
wallet is not
clipboard button.
deducting the
Sometimes that
transaction
can help
fee
you as well.
from that
The
amount
next thing
that
you need to know, which is
Bitlocity is
very important, as
requesting.
soon
So
as
that
you
means
have
you need to
sent
look
that
at it
payment,
very
you want to click
carefully to
verify
make
and
sure
activate
that
my
is
package.
not happening.
You don't have to
Of
wait for
course, you can
confirmations or
always
anything like
copy
that.
the
As soon
amount
as that
of
payment
Bitcoin
has
by
been
clicking
sent,
on the
make sure you
clipboard
click
button.
verify and activate my
Sometimes that can
package.
help
That
you as
lets
well.
the
The next
system
thing you
know
need to know,
that
which is
that
very
Bitcoin
important, as
is
soon
on the
as
way.
you have sent that
All
payment,
right.
you
All
want to
right.
click
So some
verify
people
and
are
activate my
a
package.
bit
You
impatient
don't have
and
to wait
not
for
recognizing
confirmations
that
or
there
anything like
is a
that. As soon
confirmation
as
that
that
has
payment
to
has been
go
sent,
through the
make sure
blockchain.
you
You know,
click
when
verify and activate
cryptocurrency or
my
Bitcoin
package.
is
That
sent
lets
through the
the
blockchain, it has to
system
be
know
confirmed
that
by
that
many
Bitcoin
computers.
is on the way.
And in order
All
for
right.
the
All right.
system
So some
to
people
recognize
are
that payment,
a bit
it has to
impatient
have at
and
least
not
one
recognizing that there
confirmation.
is a
Well,
confirmation that has
okay,
to
now many of
go
us are
through the
using
blockchain. You know, when
blockchain.com, the
cryptocurrency or
app,
Bitcoin is sent
and
through the
we will
blockchain, it has
scan
to be
the
confirmed by
QR
many
code that
I'm about to
computers.
Bitlocity
ask.
provides
And
us,
in
but
order
you will
for
get an
the
error message.
system
It
to
will say,
recognize
this
that
is an
payment, it has to have at
Guys, I'm
least
about to
one
fast forward this.
confirmation
So,
moving forward. Okay,
uh,
now many of us are
I've
using
seen most of this already. It's pretty
blockchain.com,
much
the
the same
app,
thing.
and we will
We're
scan
pretty much talking
the
about the
QR
same
code
thing. I
that
don't know why they're
Bitlocity
talking about the same
provides
thing.
us,
We
Whatever.
just
but you will
increased
get
the
an
size
error
of our
message.
support
It will
staff
say,
in
this
customer
is an
service. So
Great. I was just
when you're
talking about
sending in
that.
those
I was just talking about that. I'm glad you did that. But now when you're on a tech support team as well.
emails that you just talked about, yeah, we definitely want them done properly.
not your keys, not
We
your
just
coin.
increased the
It
size of our support
makes
staff
the
in
difference.
customer
That
service. So
I'm just
when
gonna
you're
end it,
sending
guys.
in
This
those
video is pretty long. I don't want to keep this video on. I don't want to make this video as an hour or 2 hour long
emails that you
because I
just
do have a
talked
little
about,
bit to
yeah,
say about
we
what they're
definitely want
talking
them
about.
done properly.
I'm just gonna end it here, guys.
not your
Make a decision for
keys, not
yourself.
your
I gave
coins.
my comments on what I think about what they're
Ladies and
talking about
gentlemen,
and what's going on
that
with the system. If it does turn out to be the way they say it is, then that's fine. It happens, but right now it doesn't look too promising. If it turns out good, then that's fine. But if not, it doesn't. That's why we always say only put the money in that you're willing to lose. If that company disappears tomorrow, that it won't hurt you. I thank you for watching this video, guys. This is the Passive Income Trucker, and I am Joe. If I can find the button, if I can find my button to stop recording, where is it? I'm going, y'all. Y'all have a good night.